Hey you guys, it's me Gemstone from www.tarotforhealing.com. I hope you guys are doing really well. This is your monthly astrological reading for the month of June. This is for Leo. And what I've decided to do this month is slightly different to last month. You guys know I'm always changing up the readings. And the reason why for this month is because, I've been really connecting more with the spirit of my great grandma. And she used to use playing cards. She used to read playing cards. So, I've kind of been like using them more, connecting with them more, and I really enjoyed them too. So I decided to use them this month, and I hope you guys do enjoy them. So what I'm gonna do is the playing cards are kind of gonna give a general reading for the month, and then I'll get into like the specific areas of your life using the Illuminati tarot cards. So let's go. The very first card of the playing cards is the Ace of Hearts, then the Ten of Diamonds, the Three of Spades, and the Queen of Spades. Um, what these cards are telling me is that there was a love relationship that you were in, or something that you love to do. There's love associated with whatever it is. I feel like for quite a few of you guys, I am feeling more like this is a relationship situation, where this could have taken place, and but then it doesn't always have to be, because the Ace of Cups can also be talking about something that you love to do, something that you felt an emotional connection with. But then it has the Ten of Diamonds next to it, which is kind of speaking of, it could have been a situation where you were with somebody over maybe a long period of time, or it could have been a case of maybe this relationship seemed like a really stable relationship that would have had a future there. But then with the Three of Spades, I'm kind of seeing that that relationship may have ended in disappointment or a heartbreak or a betrayal of some kind. And then I kind of can see a situation with which is ending in somebody kind of walking away from a situation, and but they're feeling quite resentful, or they're hurt by the situation, but they have the strength to get through it. But then I kind of feel like there's going to be a bit of spite that they're going to be walking away with. And so yeah, that's sort of what I'm getting with with the playing cards. It's a completion of a situation, something coming to an end that could have been stable. But then it's almost like you may have dealt with this situation before. It's almost like you're going to be like, okay, I don't like that this happened. I am hurt by it, but I've been through this before. And it also could be a situation where maybe this relationship has ended because somebody was sort of either thinking about themselves, or somebody was just being really maybe harsh or a bit mean as well. And that's sort of what kind of brought things to an end. It's almost like I get this image of like a happy family that has almost sort of been separated, and it's it could be because somebody just wanted to do their own thing. They wanted to go their own way, but then the way they did it, it could end up turning out to be a really unpleasant kind of parting of ways. um I know some people are going to think, oh, is there any other way to part of ways? But there are some times where it can be mutual, and it can be like, okay, we just consent to kind of go in our own direction. Things was moving in in their own direction. But I feel like that's not how it's going to be. It's almost like it can be a situation where it's like, it could have been a pleasant situation, but it's like somebody is going to take it there, or maybe even both of you guys might take it there to where it's not like that pleasant a situation, and again somebody is walking away resentful. um but then I guess the better news comes with the first tarot card that's representing your finances and your work. And what this is kind of telling me is, it's the Two of Wands, and it's indicating that you may have for some of you guys, you may have applied for something and you're waiting to hear back. It's if you have your own business, you can be thinking of maybe ways that you can expand your business, ways that maybe you can get more clients or even expand your audience. Like the people that basically see what you do, or people that could potentially buy into what it is you have to offer. It's like you want more of those people to see what you have to offer. And you might be thinking about, well, how can I do that? You're trying to expand things, or you might even be trying to just take things to the next level, to the next stage, if you sort of began a project or a business or something like that. If it's a work situation where you are like employed by somebody else, you might be even applying for maybe other work positions. Maybe you want something that is that's maybe a bit more, maybe where you have more responsibility, maybe you're earning a bit more money, so maybe you think, okay, I'm going to apply for some new jobs and stuff, and so you might be actually waiting to hear back from somebody else. But I kind of get this idea of you communicating with somebody else that could be also at a distance as well. So you might even be thinking of maybe working overseas, for instance, or but I feel like there's definitely a waiting period when it comes to this card. And you may be wanting things to move a bit quickly, but it's kind of saying that you may have to practice patience in this situation, because if you're waiting to hear back from somebody, I feel like it might take a bit longer than maybe you hoped it would take. But that's okay. Sometimes you just have to kind of be patient. So June might be a time where it's more of like a waiting game period, or you're sort of reassessing things, like you're trying to strategize and see, okay, what is the next step for me? So it might not be the month where something exactly is manifested, but it's you sort of your time of branching out into new avenues, or again taking something that you've already began further, or how you can expand upon it. So yes, those are your work cards. When it comes to your relationships, is the Seven of Cups. And what this card is telling me is that things are either unclear or uncertain when this card shows up. It's kind of like you need clarity or understanding, but then at the same time it can be a card of maybe speaking of different options. So um for some of you guys, you know, especially connecting with that first message that came up with the playing cards, you might be thinking about expanding your options. You know, do I stay in this relationship with this person, or should I get into a relationship with somebody else? Should I be with somebody else? The only difficult thing with this card is that sometimes it's one of them things where you can think you have all these options that you may not necessarily have, because there is sort of illusion and delusion that kind of shows up with this card too. It can represent having different options, but sometimes the options may not be what you would hope they would be. So what I would kind of say is, for a relationship situation, it's saying be realistic about your relationships. Be realistic as to where you stand with a person. If you need any kind of clarification, then communicate that clearly so that you know exactly what is going on between you and this other person. If it's a case of you wanting to branch out and see somebody else or something like that, or you're thinking about that, it's saying really think things through. Sometimes our emotions can get the best of us, and we can sort of feel like, okay, this is just how I'm feeling, and so let me just go with that. But sometimes it's good to throw a little bit of logic in there at times as well, because it's sort of saying, again, sometimes our feelings uh can make us sort of irrational, and we can sort of make a decision again that you may not exactly want by the time you get you get what it is that you thought you desired. That's the best way of saying it, because this is definitely a card that also can be connected with our desires and our fantasies and stuff like that as well. And I guess when you think of fantasies in, you know, a relationship way or a sexual way, they can be, you know, all fun and exciting, but sometimes when it comes to the practicality of it all, or when we actually get into it, it's not exactly what it seems. And so that's sort of how this card can be. Even for some of you guys connecting with fantasies, it could even be that same thing, that maybe that's even what you want to bring into a relationship. Maybe that's what you like. And so if you're with somebody, you might want to bring that aspect into things. So, you know, that might be quite exciting for some of you guys that are in relationships. But then at the same time, I am kind of feeling that for some of you guys, this card might actually be thinking about you considering moving on from a relationship, maybe to somebody else. somebody else that maybe you really like from a distance or something, and then this card might be actually warning you and saying, kind of take things slow, because the way you perceive things may not be exactly how it is. The grass may not always be greener on the other side, basically. So yeah. um okay. For those of you that are single, you got the Three of Cups, which the Three of Cups is a nice card. It's a card of celebration, having fun, being social with friends, going out to eat, having a drink. And so that's what you might be doing if you're single. You might just be getting out much more. You might be invited to more places. You might be, I don't know, again, going out to eat, going to clubs, going to that kind of thing. But and it might have potential for love in some of these places, to be honest. Something, might happen in terms of you connecting with somebody else in a place where you are, again, having a good time. But for some of you guys, it might not always be saying that, okay, you're gonna just meet this really fantastic like partner or something. It could just be saying, again, having just a really good time with friends, having a really good time socializing. And because sometimes, it's not always that we have to be in a relationship. Sometimes we can get our emotional fulfillment from the people that we just enjoy being around. So it might also be sort of coming through that way as well. Um, so yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling with these cards. I feel like regardless, it's gonna be a fun month for you anyway, which is good. When it comes to your spiritual cards, this card that you have is the moon. So what is kind of showing is that I feel like it's saying that you within yourself, there's gonna be things that become apparent to you this month. Maybe things that you either didn't understand, or things that were hidden are coming to the surface. And it's because there's a spiritual message that is coming through in terms of your own for you to reach a realization about something. Every time we learn something, regardless of what it is, obviously it's a way of contributing to us becoming wiser and becoming more well-rounded and more understanding of life, the world around us, things like that. And so I feel like what's coming through for you is that, again, it's a lesson to be learned, but whatever the lesson is that is coming through is something that you needed to see, but you haven't seen it before, you haven't experienced it before. The moon also is a very introspective card as well. So there might be a lot that you're feeling on a spiritual level that is taking place within yourself. Maybe these are things that either you haven't expressed to people, or you might not, you might even be feeling like you can't express it. Maybe you don't even know how to put it into words, things that you're feeling internally. And that's entirely okay. Like, our spiritual journey is very personal, and especially showing up with the moon card, it shows how personal this experience can be. We can go through different phases, we can go through different cycles that have very valuable um lessons to teach, but those are our lessons to learn. And other people may not understand them, other people don't have to really. It's just about you sort of coming to grasps with what it is that is taking place within. So that's what I'm seeing with this card. For some of you guys, especially connecting this card with like some of the other things that have taken place, is I kind of get a feeling of that there is a mix going on with these cards that showed up for you. Well, this thing is getting on my nerves. This was falling out. Yeah, there's like a mix of experiences. It's sort of like I'm kind of seeing that June could be a month of, again, there is sort of a leaving behind of something that could be potentially painful to go through, but then it's sort of saying that all is, it's not like the whole month is going to be just challenge. There's going to be some positive experiences that come through the month as well. And I think these positive experiences might be to, it might even be a case of maybe friends or people around you are actually saying to you, oh, let's go out and have a good time, because maybe they know that you're going through a difficult time or something like that. So there's definitely going to be some like happiness that's come through, that is happening, like coming through this month at the same time. But then I feel like there's also might be a sadness that is coming through, underlining sadness. Maybe even for some of you guys are underlining, even if maybe even a feeling a bit of depression that you might be feeling within yourself, and that might also be something that you might be hiding from other people. It's like maybe on the outside you might be showing that, yeah, everything is okay and you're having fun and you're trying to be light-hearted and all the other stuff, but then inside there are things that are happening that maybe you're just not revealing or not wanting to share. But then again, like, remember, every experience that we go through, whether it's the highs of life, the lows of life, is it's a valid experience. And the magical thing about it, and I guess the blessing in it, is that it doesn't last forever. It's just something we have to go through in that moment, and then we move through the next stage of life, um which is good. And what I'm kind of seeing, like, just my eyes were just really drawn to like one of the animals in the cards, like the wolf, and it's sort of telling me, don't feel afraid to tell people how you're feeling within yourself. Don't feel like you have to keep it with, like, inside. If you have to, release it, release frustrations, release that sadness, release it, do it. Don't be afraid to cry. Don't be afraid to, talk to somebody else about it that is really close to you. Don't keep it to yourself. It- I almost feel like there can be a lot pent up, and it's just saying, don't feel like you have to retreat within yourself, or spend time alone dealing with these feelings. Do depend on your support system that is around you if you are experiencing any kind of difficult time, because I feel like you have people that are around you, that are loyal to you, that do really love you, that do care about you. So yes. And I'm just really getting a lot of emotions coming through with this card as well. I'm feeling sensitive emotionally. So yes, those are the cards for you, Leo. Peace and blessings to you. Bye.